good race. Start you on my whistle.
Welcome back to A Faster Me. We are here, CBR number 5. Tried to get a good start. Tried to stay towards the front. So here I'm kind of mid-pack. In front of me is my teammate Emily. Hasn't raced this season. Great to have her back. So here just kind of settling in. My mindset was a lot better, I'd say, coming into this race. I was gonna compete. I think I've allowed a few things to get in my head and just kind of been out there, and this week I was determined to race. So
yeah, I think it's kind of weird. I still think it's kind of funny how I don't know, you guys, the line choices sometimes, like, you guys really like hugging the side of the road that you're turning on instead of taking a wide approach. And I understand everybody following the leaders, because obviously you want the draft effect, but I just don't really understand, like, people hugging the right side on the right turn when you should be starting off a little bit wider. Yeah, anyway.
yeah, it's true. We hardly ever use the whole road. So I started off at a kind of, I wouldn't say a completely slow pace, but definitely pretty comfortable to just kind of sit in. I tried to just stay patient. Here I was, with Emily for this whole section.
Look at that. 3 former teammates next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Got Carolyn on the left right there, Emily in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
and of course yourself. But yeah, I don't know how windy it was for you guys, but when we started, it was pretty windy coming on that after turn 2, and then up that uphill. It had a little crosswind also.
Yeah, it was pretty windy, so staying to the inside was definitely a better line choice because the wind was coming, crosswind from the outside. And so there's Catalina with a
flyer.
nice little attack, which this speeds the whole race up, as you can see. And it seemed that this was the pattern. Right on this front straight, someone would pick up the pace every time. There was more preem laps than I think I can remember back to back to back, it seemed like. And so I was always kind of caught out. I can't see, I know we were talking about my cadence. I'll be curious to kind of see what my cadence and power is, but just that front straight got me every time. I was able to try to make up some places here on the downhill pretty easily, so I'm...
Yeah, I think this is your strength anyway, going downhill, carrying some momentum. You like the higher speeds. Yeah, it's a good place to be able to move up without using too many watts.
I know it's a struggle here because you don't want to dive bomb, but it's like just so open, and I can move up so many places. But yeah, it's just tempting to practice bad habits because there's a lot of kind of space, and some of the line choices are a little less decisive, but definitely don't want to start to practice bad habits.
Well, here's the thing. Going inside is not a bad habit. Dive bombing, no matter what level you're at, is always a bad habit. So it doesn't matter if there's a space there or not. All you need to do is move up next to the rider on the straight part of it, and it's then called a block pass, and you just turn. But if they're already initiating their turn, you cannot try to squeeze in there. That is dive bombing, and you're going to T-bone somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like you guys are picking up the pace, though, going a little faster up this incline now. That's a lot of watts, over 400 watts you were at a second ago, and holding 350 or whatever. I mean, that's a lot of watts.
Yeah, I don't know, what had happened to pick up the pace, but yeah, we're stretched out a little bit.
Yeah, I think it is a preem though also. So
yeah, literally, I mean, I would be interested to see, but almost every lap they were ringing the bell for something, bar points, something. So I think there was only maybe 2 laps that we didn't have something.
And you can see that this little false flat has everybody, you know, pedaling pretty fast. Everyone has a really high cadence, so it only shows that it's 1% uphill. It's probably 1.5, maybe even touches 2. But yeah, I mean, it does tax you after a while.
There's Jules in front of me doing a good job. You know, not sure if she's on a gravel bike. I know she does some gravel bike riding, but she's spinning pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has different gearing also. I know you have a 52-36. Some people have a 50-34. And then, of course, some people are on gravel bikes or SRAM, and they might have a 48, 46, stuff like that. So, yeah, it's a lot easier when you see people really spinning. And then someone like Lisa Mohammed, she is on gravel gearing, and her gears are so small. Once you get closer to 30 miles per hour, it's hard for her to, you know, keep a solid pedal stroke. So sometimes you'll see her pedal 4 or 5 times, then coast, then pedal 4 or 5 times. Makes it a little difficult, but you know, she's been winning with it, so it's working.
Yeah, and she comes in second in the Masters here. She had a really good day.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I mean, it's been competitive. This year has been a lot of good racing, a lot of new people, a lot of new strong women out there. I mean, it's exciting. We like watching these races, and definitely like watching them on video and get to see. Because when we're watching it, I can't tell what's going on the other side of the pack, and every time the peloton comes around, it looks like everyone's in the exact same spot.
Yeah, I think it's just interesting because our strengths and our weaknesses are obviously the same. So every race course has a little bit different feel. So, you know, I felt like I was near the front for a good chunk of the race, but I know every time I came through on the front straight, I was near the back. So I'd do work to get back up, and then I had a harder time kind of holding that position.
Yeah, but that's natural. I mean, especially on the climb. The climb, anytime the road goes up, it's going to separate a lot of people. That's just the fact of life. Some people are better climbers. Some people are better at holding speed. Some go through the wind a little more. So, no, that's just the nature of it. Use your strengths, and coming downhill right here is easy for you to move up. So, yeah, take advantage of it. Yeah, go around and move up every time if you can.
And I really was working on racing smarter. For most of the race, at least. We'll get to my not so smart decision later, but I really was working on drafting better. I just said, you know, it doesn't really matter if people have beat you or are stronger than you. You know, anybody can do well.
Catalina on the dive bomb.
Any given day. She was really...
She was aggressive today. She was,
yes.
You know, very spirited. She had a couple of attacks. Yeah, she was out there really racing her bike.
I think at one point she was even yelling at me, "Go, Ellen, go!" And I was just trying to move up a little bit. So I was just kind of interesting. I didn't know who was yelling at me till after.
Yeah, but that's what it's about, just having fun out there. Obviously, everyone's safe and stuff like that, but I think sometimes people are just like mad and fired up, got the eye of the tiger all the time. And yeah, it's fun. I like to relax when I'm out there.
I don't think too many people are that relaxed out there. I noticed a few people shaking their, you know, numb hands out, so probably gripping the bar too tight. I see my position on, I think, Summer's video, and I feel like I have an arrow position, and my arms are almost straight.
So the young lady in the red right there, she has a pretty good, I mean, Catalina has a good arrow position there. You can see how low she is. Her back is flat. Yeah, that's going to help getting you through this wind and holding the draft a lot longer. I mean, not a lot longer, but a little easier. You know, you get a little bit better draft. The young lady next to her in the red, too, has a decent position.
Yep, things to work on. So in the drops, I would swear that I was in that arrow of a position, but the video doesn't lie when you see yourself on someone else's film. I can lie about it here, but...
Yeah, I don't have that great of a position either when I'm riding. My elbows are a little too locked out. You really want your elbows bent, and you want your back flat. But honestly, you got to work on your core to get there. Keep the pressure off your hands, and when your core starts to get weak, your back starts to straighten up, and you start to put a little pressure on your hands and stuff.
There, you saw me take a little drink at the back of this thing. My mouth was so dry after even just a couple minutes, and here I do a pretty good job moving up to be in a better position. There's Lisa. I think I let her know I was on her inside because I wasn't quite next to her to, you know.
Yeah, no, I think you did a very good job there taking advantage. People were coasting, and instead of coasting, you went up the right side without using much power, slotted in good right after the turn, and now you're in about 6th, 7th position.
Yeah, something that I've really struggled with is kind of just being on wheels, and I'm doing a much better job drafting. Still out sometimes a little bit, but I would say this is one of my better races just during the race of moving positions and not kind of getting pushed around.
Yeah, I'm going to get on Lisa a little bit. I saw going into that turn, she's tapping her brake. It looks like she was tapping her rear brake. I don't know if she has it set up normal or not, but she was tapping the right brake, and usually that's the rear. And, well, a couple things. One, I don't think she needed to touch her brake whatsoever. Every time you touch your brake, you got to use a little muscle to get your speed back up again. And she probably didn't need to touch her brake at all. But even when you do, you probably, well, from my opinion, it's better for the front brake. You hardly ever should be touching your rear brake to scrub speed in the turn. You really want to use your front brake slightly, just feathering it. But I don't think there was a need for her to touch her brake at all.
Well, I'm embarrassed to admit that most corners, I think I see most people braking. There's so much slowing. So yes, I'm guilty of hitting my brakes, and I try to do it before the corner if necessary because I don't like to in the corner. But just riding with people a little more consistently, you kind of know which women have a little more experience, and then you can feel a little more comfortable kind of staying a little bit tighter and not braking. But there's still, some that maybe you're not as familiar with, or maybe they're not as comfortable, and I'm not as comfortable with that. So there's, I think, a lot more braking than is necessary.
Yeah, well, part of it too is the lines that you guys take that causes you to brake. The tighter you are to the right, the slower you have to go to make the turn. If you're out starting your turn from the left side, you'll realize it's not really a turn at all. If you start wide, hit the apex, and then run it wide to the other side of the street, it's so straight, and you carry so much more speed that way. As you make the turn tighter, you're going to scrub speed a lot more, and then you're going to have to use muscle to accelerate out of the turn.
That's what we do. We like to.
Every race, all the time. Now, you guys are actually fairly wide this time, compared to the first couple laps.
Yeah, that last turn, I think it was just stretched out all across the, most of the road. A lot of different lines and angles, but at a little bit faster speed. Yeah,
you guys are chilling right now. You guys are under 20 for a little while and just chilling. A couple laps ago, you guys went up this hill at about 21, 22. So now you're at 19 again. So, yeah. Just chilling. Needed a little break after that preem.
Well, it's probably another preem. So there, see Emily Ryder come up. Looks like Emily's looking at her saying, I'm here. I'm not giving up a wheel. And she doesn't. She was a little worried coming into the race just with fitness, maybe not being as consistent as she'd like. But she definitely has a racer mindset and does great out there. So it was fun to have her out there, and we missed Laura, our other teammate, wasn't able to join us, but it would have been fun to have, a few more people out there.
Yeah, Emily, even though she hasn't been riding road that much, she stays fit. If you think about it, her training is basically just all cross training because, with the hiking and the riding dirt and just different stuff that she does, she's always going to have a decent level of fitness. So it's not really race fitness, but yeah, she'll always be able to hold her own out here.
Yeah, and I was doing 270 watts I saw on that straightaway with like 90 to 100 RPM. So it just, every straightaway there was a lot of acceleration.
Yeah, here's another opportunity that you take. A good job here. Doing a little bit too many watts, but yeah, it's good that now you can just kind of let off. So there's just a small acceleration. So that's a good job of moving up without using too many watts. And now finally, I think that's Rayo is her name in the gold, but that's the best line I've seen so far. Oh no, that's Feline. I'm sorry. Feline, that was the best line so far by Feline. She took it wide, was able to hit the apex. I mean, she cut it still a little tight here, but yeah, that was the best line so far.
And I think Feline did the most work by far this race. She was out front, I would say, the majority of the race. I've been back a little bit. You couldn't see it, but yeah, she did a lot of work. Just kind of maintaining that yellow jersey and...
Yeah. I mean, everybody knows Feline's
working.
super strong. I mean, she's super strong. So I don't know if it was necessary for her to do this work. And of course, the competitors get to rest behind her. But of course, she's strong enough also to do the work. So it doesn't hurt her that much. And she had a really good finish anyway. But I think a little less work and she probably wins the race.
Yeah, it's just so hard. That's where I think experience comes in for all of us, of just knowing how to, maybe not work but still be up there. I know that, it's just there's so many tactics that go into racing.
Mm-hmm.
And, when to rest and how to rest. And
well, everyone's focus is different also. I mean, we don't know what her goals were for today. We don't know what she wanted to do. Maybe she wanted to get on the front and just put in some work today. It's different, I mean, everyone's not just win at all costs. So yeah, it's different. And she put in the work. She was more than capable of doing it, and she looked really strong and had it stretched out.
And there was a little attack on the left that, again, this front straightaway stretched it out again, and I went from fourth wheel to
40th.
Fourth from the back.
Yeah, no, it's just what it is. I mean, some people are stronger when the road goes up.
Yeah, so 171, I think. I don't know if my max, I hit 180 this race.
Oh, with your heart rate?
With my heart rate, I can't remember.
I don't know. I think when I was making the video, I saw 172, 176, something like that.
Yeah, it might have been that I hit 180, which I have barely done. That could be the heat, but yeah, 171 is pretty high for me.
Yeah.
So still got a pretty good pace. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was fun to have Carolyn out. She didn't have any teammates, so we had kind of a reunion, even though we're not teammates anymore.
Yeah, Carolyn's crazy. She was so funny. I won't say, I won't say what she said, but yeah, she was so funny after the race. And then she was like, damn it, now I got to go race LAX. It was just kind of funny. But yeah, it's definitely good to see her and good to see her racing, road races again. And congratulations on getting her pro card for triathlons.
Woohoo!
You guys got the pace back up again. If you can see, you're doing 22 just a second ago up this hill, opposed to 19 a few laps ago. So
I don't know, and this hill didn't feel that hard, but again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but this front straight was what killed me.
Yeah, well, it's funny because you have a 2% hill, and you said it didn't feel that hard sometime, but if you hit it with more speed, then of course it feels easier. When you slow down and you're doing 18 or something when you hit it, then you got to use muscle instead of momentum. So, yeah, and I think sometimes here you're just not in good position, and it is what it is. 2% right now, and you're doing 250 watts. You're probably, if you're tighter on this girl's wheel, you'll probably be doing a little less watts, and whoever's out front is doing more watts than you are anyway. Mm-hmm. Most likely. So you're still saving a little energy. Just gotta be tucked into the draft a little better.
Yeah, I need to match those accelerations.
So here's another good job. If you look, you're less than 100 watts, or you were when I said it. Mm-hmm. Less than 100 watts, and you made up about 5 spots so far.
I think more than 5.
Well, yeah, at the end, but at the time it was about 5, and Yeah, you're back up to about 7th wheel now. Yeah, again, I don't know why you guys cut it so tight. You should be about 15 feet to the left. And the straighter you keep your bike, the faster it can go. If you're not accelerating, anytime you lean your bike over, it's slowing down. Doesn't even matter. Like when from upright to leaning your bike over, friction changes and your bike starts to slow down. It's the same with the motorcycle. And if you're not accelerating through a turn, your bike is losing speed. So you want it leaned over as little as possible so you don't have to hug that left side so much. Just turn and then take it wide right now. That was a lot better by whoever that is up front.
Probably Feline. No.
Yeah, it could be. Looks like it is. But yeah, honestly, so far Feline's been taking the best lines that I've seen.
Well, she's probably taken a variety, and I know sometimes she may not want, prevent someone from passing, so that may factor in too. I'm not up there all the time, but like I said, I would, if I had to guess, she probably led 20 plus 20.
That was a good move.
Of
Who's this right here?
I think Sherry.
Sherry, that was a good move from Sherry. She went up the inside. And if you look, she didn't push the girl off the wheel. What she did was waited for the separation in the turn, which almost always happens. At least one person is kind of afraid, so they hit their brakes and slow down. And when that little separation came, then Sherry slotted in. And that's kind of how you do it when you want to move up. When you get stuck on the side and everyone's drafting single file, at the turn is a great possibility to slot back in. I mean, great, I said possibility, but it's a great opportunity. Yes, opportunity to slot back in.
Yeah, and just knowing she's a higher category, has some experience, pretty smooth. I actually took some corners a lot closer on her wheel than I would say I normally am, but...
Yeah, she don't want you cross wheeling her. No, I'm just playing. She don't want you rear ending her through the turn.
In here you'll see a little, touching the hip.
Whoa, I'm not having that. This is my wheel. Hey, whoa. This is my wheel. Now back off, young lady. No, they're just being competitive. And, like I said, Sherry just took the wheel through the turn a couple turns ago. But, again, she's protecting her wheel here. So the one thing is if you see they're completely shoulder to shoulder, and that's pretty safe right there. It doesn't matter if there's a bump or not right now when you're shoulder to shoulder. The problem happens when someone's handlebars get in front of the other. So right now Sherry has position because her handlebars are in front, and Miss Rayo is going to have to back off because her front wheel is exposed. You always need to protect your front wheel. When you're side by side, that's when you'll see people bumping a little bit or whatever the case may be. But yeah, you definitely don't want to be bumping with someone that has the dominant position over your front wheel.
And here I just moved from 4th wheel to 8 or 9, but coming back up a little bit.
Yeah, you didn't use that many watts either. You're still in the hundreds. Weren't even in 200 watts yet. No, you guys are good. I mean, I know there was a little... Sherry used her hand, off the bars, which of course for everyone that's not recommended. Like Ellen said earlier, Sherry has a lot of experience and you can just tell she was calm when she did it, things like that. But we've seen in other races and things like that where people have tried to do those things and it's not necessarily the safest, especially if you're, new to racing and don't have that much bike handling skills. Don't try to touch anyone. You can use verbal commands or whatever the case may be, but yeah, keep your hands on the bars if you can. Just my 2 cents.
I'll take your 2 cents. So, here we go, speeding up again. Sure, there was a preem.
Thank you. Yeah. I don't know. We're getting kind of close now. I think it's only probably less than 5 laps to go.
Yeah, I was starting to play in my head of what I wanted my strategy to be.
Yeah.
I was debating, do I want to try a attack here on the downhill? It seemed to be slow and I could move up. Yeah, so I was just debating what I wanted my strategy the last couple laps to be.
That was a little. I can't tell if it was that one or not. But yeah, you're doing a good job of moving up, and here goes an attack right here from you off the front. I think.
Not quite yet.
No,
I
maybe
think.
not. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
It's coming.
She looked at you like, "Hey, what are you doing? Are you trying to go somewhere?" I mean, yeah, because right here you're burning a lot of energy. Um, yeah, I mean, you're getting a little bit of effect of a draft here, but yeah, not too much. So you're just burning your own energy right there, and you're kind of in VO2. You're a little above your threshold there, and at least high threshold at that, and so you're burning a little too much energy.
Yeah, definitely not so easy when it's stretched out to. You'd have to work really hard to take a wheel, and there goes Catalina again attacking.
She's not attacking. She just went up there to have a conversation, just chatting. That's all.
Well,
See?
picking up the pace, maybe not attacking.
No, they're just talking. That's Emily doing a good job following Catalina up, using her energy instead of her own.
I'm here trying to stay on Emily's wheel, but I am not quite successful.
All right, here's the second wheel battle here from Miss Rayo and Sherry. I think Miss Rayo holds her ground this time, and as you can see, she has handlebar position, and Sherry's just on Emily's wheel anyway. So there's plenty of wheels good to go around.
But I'm not on one right now. I see.
Yeah, you should be tucked in behind Sherry.
But I'm pretty sure we only have a couple to go, so I did think maybe I could do an attack on the downhill.
Well, you can do an attack wherever you want.
Yeah. And then my thought was maybe I can, I have a decent amount of, like maybe 5-minute power, so I think we must have 1.5 to go right here. If this is when I attack, but I thought maybe I could only have a few people catch me and have a decent finish with that strategy. But I was mistaken.
Well, I don't know if you were mistaken. I think you kind of overcooked it. So right here you go up to 600 watts. I forgot what it was on your actual power because this is 3-second average here kind of. So you went up to 600 and something watts. Now you're holding 385. I don't think you could hold 380 or 350 for more than like a minute. Each lap is 2 minutes. So you got to think you got to hold it for at least 3.5 minutes right now because you got a lap and a half to go. So yeah, you just overcooked it. You're just going a little too hard. And starting off at 600 watts, that's going to really burn your legs up. You can only do 600 watts for a few seconds.
And I think I looked down there at my power because I was feeling I can't sustain this. What did I do?
Right.
I'm pretty sure I can hear people closer behind me than I would want them to. I don't look back. I just know that whatever it is. I'm cooked, and there goes the pack by me, and I'm done.
Yeah. So a better attack would have been attacking at just after start finish line of the last lap. Not this lap, of the lap before when you attacked. Because you waited till the straightaway was completely over. Everybody's doing 29 miles per hour at that time. So your separation, you have to go too fast to get separation, which even if you're sprinting, you're not going to go 40. You know what I mean? So you only went a mile per hour or so faster than everyone else. And then the uphill started. So if you just picture it now and you're coming through. Now, if you attack now, you're going to have 5 seconds or 4 seconds till you get here. And then you would have a couple second gap on them going downhill, which is the fastest for you. And you can save a little energy. You always want to, not always, but you kind of want to plan your attack over at a point where the speed is going to change from fast to slow or slow to fast. I think in your situation, it's better if the speed's a little slower and it's about to be fast, it's about to be a downhill. You need to tack on that slow part and then use your the downhill to your advantage while everyone else is still, not everyone, but some people are still on the slower part of the course.
Except that they were never going slow on that front straightaway. That was the fastest part, except it was uphill.
Right.
So, Yeah,
but that's still the better thing because it's not slow. It wasn't slow to you, but it was a slower part that was about to turn into a fast part. You're doing about
Right.
24 at the start finish line, but then you guys go up to 30 on the downhill, even just coasting. So if you were to attack, and that's a 6 mile per hour difference. When you did your attack here, going up this false flat of 1%, you only have like a 1 mile per hour difference. So when you turn the corner here, and this is not your strong point going up this hill, then all of those girls were able to climb a little faster and catch you.
Yeah, and here I'm doing threshold and above, but everyone is just gone. So I knew, yeah, that's just all she wrote. So, I mean, it definitely is a learning experience, just trying some different things out. I definitely came to race, but then, yeah.
I mean, honestly, there's nothing wrong with it. This is the thing that people are afraid of doing. They're afraid of getting dropped, but it's not a big deal. You came to race your bike, and you raced your bike. Sitting in is good, and finishing with the pack is good, but that's what they say. You can race really safe and never have a good finish, or you could take some chances and potentially win a race. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, this was also my first one of two races. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. We will see you next time. I'm just gonna cruise across the line all by my lonesome, but it was fun.
So the next race, I think we're gonna do Barry Wolf. Looks fun. We've never done it before, but see you on the 29th.